Hello, everybody. Okay, this is actually my assignment for ICMP Online. So I am going to be submitting this to my tutor, Megan. Hi, Megan, if you're watching this. And because we were doing this part of the module about social media, and one of the recommendations was to put this on YouTube, I thought I would finally get my YouTube channel up and running and put this on YouTube. So if you're interested in this, by all means have a look and check out ICMP Online if you're interested in making some music yourself or you're interested in the music business. I'm having a lot of fun and learning a lot, so I really recommend it. Okay, so we've been having fun with social media this week, and one of the things you might have noticed if you've been looking at any of my other channels or social medias is that you might have noticed I've been changing my profile picture and some of the pictures that are on those medias so that we now have the same banner. I put a lot of sea-themed stuff in there because I'm really missing home. I'm missing Cornwall and I'm missing the sea, and that's a big part of who I am and what I do. So we've put a nice ocean themed banner up there, and I think that's going to be a really big part of my next album. And I also picked out a photo that I actually took it last summer. And again, I'll be really interested if you like that photo, or I'm never quite sure whether you want a smiley photo or whether I should do something really dark and moody. My partner is trying to get me to put corpse paint on and do a real, death. Maybe that's not me. I don't know. But we have options. So again, actually, I quite like the photo, but yeah, we'll see how that fits and how that works going forward. And again, if you've got any ideas, let me know. So we've got a nice banner, we've got a nice picture. I've got a logo. I'm not really sure what to do with the logo, but we'll see. And I think all of the information is now fairly consistent. I've actually resurrected my TikTok. I did move away from TikTok for a while because I spent all of my time watching TikTok, and there was a lot of kind of, I don't know, like really good makeup videos and tarot videos, and it was getting a bit weird. A lot of people telling me that they could see my future and stuff was going to happen, and a lot of childbirth videos for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't want to see those, but they were on there. So yeah, I disabled TikTok for a while, but I've gone back to it now, and I think I've programmed it to show me some new music, and I've met some really great indie musicians. So that's been quite fun, and on TikTok you're going to see just a few little sort of short acoustic clips of whatever I'm working on. Hopefully, yeah, maybe one each week. I don't know. Okay, so that's all done. Have a look at that, and yeah. So a big part of this assignment this week was we actually did a social media test, and you might have seen this. So I put a short video up on TikTok, and I put a similar video up on Instagram Reels, which was also put on my feed. And then I put a tweet as well. And those of you who know me, I'm always putting stuff on Twitter. I love chatting on Twitter. That's kind of where I feel far more comfortable. And we're monitoring how people are engaging with that at the moment. So far, I tend to get hundreds of views on TikTok, but very little actual engagement. So I don't really know whether people are viewing my videos and enjoying them, or whether these are just people who are scrolling through and just happen to come across it. I don't really have any feedback on that. So, yeah, I'm reaching hundreds of people, usually about 200 people per video on TikTok, but I have very few likes, very few comments, usually none, and I don't really know what people think about it. Instagram, I've met some really great people on Instagram. We do occasionally get the odd strange person who wants my personal details for some reason. But other than those people who we block, I've met some really great people, lots of musicians from all over the world. So lots of indie musicians. I could name a few, producers, and a lot of people have been really nice about giving me help and giving me feedback. And one of the things I asked in this video that I uploaded for this study was, I thought, well, we'll kill two birds with one stone and actually ask the viewers not just if they like interacting with me on this forum, but what they would like to see. And Instagram was where I started to get the comments back. So there's a great guy, Zephyr Hill Music, who does, he produces and he does songwriting, and he's worth checking out. He does some great stuff. And he actually suggested that I do some more stuff around guitar mods. Because one of the things I've been doing is, since I picked up guitar, because I really like a bargain, and I've got really very specific tastes in what I want to achieve with my guitar. So you'll see I've got a rack of guitars behind me. I cannot afford all these guitars. So they're always something that I've picked up second hand, some kind of bargain. And they've all got a story behind them. And most of them I've modded in some way, and I've put a lot of time and effort into figuring out what strings to put on them. I set them up myself. A few of you might have followed last year about my Franken Squire, so I got a anniversary edition Squire from CEX, which is it's like a second-hand, like almost a pawn shop in the UK. And I got this thing, it was an absolute bargain, and I've refitted the nut, I've sorted out the electrics, I've done a whole bunch of stuff. I replaced the bridge, and it plays beautifully now. And my project for this summer has been building a Jazzmaster, because my dream guitar is a proper vintage Jazzmaster. And I can't buy it, basically. So I would actually have to either go to Fender's custom shop or just get incredibly lucky at some second-hand store on Denmark Street or LA Vintage Gear or somewhere to get the exact setup I want. So I've been building one, and it's mostly assembled at the moment. I've got a box of electrics and pickups arrived this week. So by the end of the summer, I should hopefully have a working Jazzmaster. Now, that's something I've been kind of doing from necessity. I'm not a qualified luthier, and I don't really consider myself an expert. But I thought it was interesting that somebody suggested that I post a bit more about that. And I've been following a whole bunch of other people who are experts. And I can probably signpost, where you can do some really easy mods for an amateur, and some things that are going to make your guitar sound really good. So yeah, I think that's perhaps something I could incorporate more of. I wasn't really intending to do that. I just liked putting some pictures of my build on Instagram. So that's something I'm going to explore. And then the tweet. Okay, so I'm always chatting on Twitter. I've got hundreds of followers and people I follow on Twitter. There's a wonderful music community on Twitter, which I really love. Far too many people for me to mention right now. And so I've got a few likes at the moment. I anticipate a few more. There'll be some cheeky comments. I like Twitter a lot. So that's where I feel I'm getting the most meaningful engagement. But usually, if you look at the figures, it's maybe 10 likes or something, as opposed to the 200 views I'm getting on TikTok. So what I'm saying is that I have some data. I'm presenting this data for this assignment, but I don't know how to interpret that data. I don't know how my 200 TikTok views stack up against my 10 tweet likes or my 2 or 3 nice detailed comments on Instagram. I certainly feel I personally get more out of Twitter and Instagram, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be one of those people who goes viral on TikTok. You never know. Okay, so I'll continue monitoring that, and I'll post the results at the end of this video. Um, okay, so part of the assignment was to spend a minimum of an hour this week. I spent way more than a minimum of an hour on social media. It's a bit of a problem. I did follow some new hashtags, so London musician, ICMP students, and stuff like that. It made very little difference to Twitter. On Instagram, I got a few more views, but not really any more followers. I normally get 1 or 2 new followers a week anyway, so there was not really any change there. On TikTok, I did get a handful of new followers, and they were musician followers. That was the big difference. I'd always got a few followers who were just, I don't know, somebody with an empty profile or something. But yeah, these were like a guy called John, who's like a blues musician, apparently, and a few others. So yeah, that was probably worthwhile, and I guess over time that will build up. I was really inspired by the video we watched about Damien Keys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to link to this in the comments here. And Damien Keys he recorded a really good YouTube video, which is a masterclass in social media, and talking about how the artist Yungblud uses social media. And I was, again, a little bit conflicted because I know that the people listening to my music are a slightly older demographic. My music's quite folky. I know that a lot of the people who listen to me are in maybe the age 35 to 70 age group. I don't think I've got very many young listeners, although hopefully that'll change, you never know. I don't really know how the kind of thing I would do would work with a strategy like Youngblood's. But I did take on board that he's doing some very interesting things. I think I do some of this naturally anyway. I like telling stories. So a lot of my Instagram posts and Twitter, they're not really buy my new album or come see me at this new gig or anything like that. I tend to use Twitter to chat to people, and I tend to use Instagram to say, oh, hey, here's what I was doing today, or, and sometimes I'll find some old photos and post, about a nice memory of something that happened like years ago, or, whatever. So I love doing all that kind of stuff. So that came quite naturally, and I think that's probably why I enjoy social media. And a lot of the indie musicians I know see social media as a real burden and a chore, and they really don't like it. But YouTube's the big one for me. So, for those of you who followed me for a while, you know that I actually stopped performing some years ago. And I was doing really well at music. I was intending to study music after A-level, and I got really bad stage fright. And I realised that studying music at that point in my life was not a smart idea, because I could not perform. As in, I would try to make myself go up perform, and I would just choke and forget the words, and I couldn't play, and it was embarrassing, and I was letting down the rest of the band, and I didn't feel I could do that anymore. And so I went and studied science, basically, instead. And that's why I'm a teacher now. I started music again in earnest in lockdown. I've always been a hobbyist. I've always enjoyed music, obviously. And the fact that we can now record at home and do a lot of stuff behind the computer, whereas when I was doing this before, you had to perform live. That was your only way. I'm talking about in the 90s, kind of not pre-internet, but almost pre-internet. Everything hinged on performing live, and you didn't even record anything until you'd performed live a lot, unless you were like some seriously rich person who had enough computer equipment. So I think there were 1 or 2 people around at the time. There was like a number 1 hit that someone had recorded in their bedroom, but realistically nobody could afford to do that. So performing live wasn't going to happen. What I'm forcing myself to do at the moment is to try and perform in front of the camera. And as you can see, I'm okay talking in front of the camera, but I'm still finding it quite challenging to perform in front of the camera. But it is something, you know, I'm doing little acoustic videos on TikTok and stuff like that, and I'm building up. I think it's probably going to be a long time before we see me, you know, playing any large venues or anything. But, you know, we're starting to move in the right direction. So, okay, if I can't perform, that means I'm limited into what I can put on YouTube. I take on board Damien Keyes's idea that artists should be using YouTube. I take on board that YouTube is a massive resource. It's a huge, huge way of communicating with people. It's probably the main way people realistically stream music. But without any performances to put up there, a little bit challenging. I was quite interested by the idea of kind of Youngblood TV and the fact that he was doing other stuff as well. I don't know if I have the time and facilities to do that kind of thing. But as you can see, I'm okay chatting like I am now, so, you know, maybe there's some scope to do a few things like that. I do know that making videos looks easy. In my day job, I also make videos for teaching, which is why I'm loosely comfortable with this. But there is a huge amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. It's very rare that you would just post your first take. So I'm under no illusion that utilising YouTube, it's not an easy thing to do. It's something you do need to invest some time and effort into. But yeah, I'm open to exploring that, whereas prior to this week, YouTube was really at the bottom of my to-do list, and every time somebody said, "Oh, do you have a YouTube channel?" I was like, yeah, no. So yeah, we'll see about that. But I think we can see some good things happening. I do have some smaller gigs that I'm hoping to play, things like campfire gigs. As you know, I'm doing more acoustic stuff at the moment because a friend of mine runs a wilderness workshop and she basically wants somebody to do some campfire songs. So that kind of thing, that feels like something I can do. And if we can take some films of that, I think that would be quite fun. Okay. So, in short, I've been on socials, as always, but I've expanded that. I have seen some increased engagement, more on TikTok because I don't tend to use it, and less on Twitter and Instagram because I use them a lot anyway. So, yeah, okay. I am trying out some of Damien Keyes's tips. I've got my notebook here. You know, I'm trying to tell the stories. I have a think about what that can look like, actually. We did a whole bunch of, like last week's assignment was on unique selling point and your artistic vision. So I think actually melding that together so that the stories I'm telling line up with that artistic vision, that's something I'm going to have to start thinking about far more seriously. And I'm actually finding it easier than I thought I would to engage with people in this way. So, as with always, this is going on YouTube, so I'll leave a question for the viewers that if you do want to like and subscribe and comment, please do go ahead, and any suggestions for the kind of stuff you want to see on this channel, nothing rude, please. Music related, we'll see if we can make that happen, and that's my assignment. Alright, take care, bye.